Public Affairs Broadcasting.
Special programming from Rockingham County Radio, rcrlive.com. WLOE Eden,
WMYN Mayodan.
listen online all the time.
RockinghamCountyRadio.com.
Welcome to Community Accents. I'm Kim Pryor, Director of Public Information at Rockingham Community College. At RCC, we believe that no matter where you are on your educational journey, we can help you identify goals and make a plan to reach them. Registration for fall semester is still going on. We are accepting applications through August the 2nd. There is a process, so if you are considering becoming a student for fall semester, please come see us today. Give us a call and we will help you get through the process of completing the application so that you can be a student when our classes begin August the 15th. Today I have two special guests with me. I have Ms. Felicia Jumper, and she is our program coordinator for the Early Childhood Education Program. And I have Mr. Kenneth Hucks, who is Department Chair for Public Safety for the college. And we're going to talk a little bit today about what students can expect if they enroll in programs of study that are involved in the areas that these two folks work in at RCC. So Ms. Jumper, welcome today.
Thank you.
And welcome to campus. You're a new employee.
Yes.
And we're so glad that you're here.
Thank you. It's wonderful being here.
Tell me a little bit about the Early Childhood Education Program.
Okay, early childhood is a term that is used for children birth through kindergarten, and then, birth through age 8.
Okay.
So what you do is you work with children from those ages. We work with brain development, social, emotional, and cognitive development. You also work with children with special needs. So that's kind of what early childhood is.
Okay. And when a student is considering enrolling in the early childhood education program, what type of personality do you think meshes best with the program in your academics?
Usually students who do really well in the early childhood program are students who love children, who connect with children of all ages. Also, students that do good in early childhood are creative. They're interested in the research aspect of why children do the things they do and how to make them grow, how to help them grow, how to guide their development. So those students that are interested, they usually do really well. Students who love music, they usually do well in the early childhood program.
But basically someone who really has an interest in the young child.
Yes.
And probably has a lot of patience.
Yes.
Right.
Yes.
And a creative nature also.
Right, a creative side. Mm-hmm.
What are some of the courses that students take in your program?
Some of the major courses, one big course that everyone comes to take is EDU 119, and that's Introduction to Early Childhood. With that is the state law. The state regulation, you have to have what is called early childhood credentials, and that allows you to work in a child care facility like a child care home or any kind of child care facility that, like a daycare, I guess you would say. Mm-hmm. So you have to have that credential. So that 119 gives you the introductory of coming into the early childhood program. After that class is finished, if you pass that class with a C or better, you register with the state, you get your credentials, and you're able to work in any child care facility in North Carolina. Other classes that are offered are child development, and that goes from, the pregnancy children developing in the womb all the way to adolescence, the adolescence age. We have creative activities, which will help you to learn how to implement developmentally appropriate activities for children of all ages. We have class children with exceptionalities, and that teaches you what to look for when you're working with infants or preschoolers or, like I said, birth through age 8. You will know the developmental milestones. So if they're not meeting these, then you can, know to get them screened or evaluated. So if there is something going on, then they can get that service to help them, because research shows that early intervention with children with any kind of special need can help turn it around.
Okay. Okay. Well, that is very valuable. But
Yes.
I guess what I'm hearing, one good thing is that if someone is interested in getting into the workforce pretty quickly, they could enroll in the one class
Right.
and be certified to go to work in a daycare facility. And I bet you have students who start out that way and then decide to complete and move on
Right.
further through your program.
Right, we do.
So is
And-
that pretty easy to do if you decided that?
Yes, it's very easy to continue your classes once you get into the program, even if you want to take them slow. We have early child care providers who are, taking classes a few at a time, like part-time, and some are, less than part-time. But because what we say is the more you know, the better you can do. The more you know about, child development and how to guide that child's development and knowing what to look for, then with more knowledge you can do better. You can help the children succeed. Not only do we help children, but we help families, because you have to teach families, what's going on with their child and advocate for the child. And, we advocate for families also. So the more classes you take, the more information you have, the more informed you are, and the better job you can do for the children and the families in your care.
So getting back to your curriculum,
Yes.
how many hours of coursework do you need to take to get your degree? If you take the one course and you get started, then there's several semesters that you've got to go through.
It's a 2-year program.
A 2-year program.
And it's 65 hours from the beginning to the degree.
Okay.
And that's for the Associate in Applied Science degree. Now, we do have different programs, certificates, so that are less hours, like 15 hours, 18 hours. So we have different, levels of certificates, and we also have a diploma.
Okay.
And a diploma is, I think, 18 hours.
18 hours. And I'm assuming with each credential, the career opportunities are a little different.
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit about, at each level, what people can look for in the job market?
With your certificate or any of the certificates, you can work in you can really start your own program. If there are people out there who want to start to take care for children in their home, in a home setting, after you all you need is your credentials or some certificates. Like I said, the more you know, it depends on what age group you want to concentrate on. If you want infants, if you want toddlers, if you want preschoolers, then there are certificates for that. But also a Head Start, you can be like a Head Start teacher assistant. You can work in just any kind of child care facility with just the certificates. With the degree, you can work in the school system as a teacher assistant. You can work at, there are positions at the Rockingham County Partnership for Children, like a child care resource and referral. You can be, you can work at like Department of Social Services and their child care department, because they have, had positions open and they were looking for someone with an early childhood associate degree. You also can, like I said, be a teacher assistant. You can work in, it's a lot of different areas in the child care field where you can work with an associate degree. It depends on your academic goals, what you want to do, because if you want to go and teach and have a teacher's license, or NC pre-K teacher, you have to have a license, then you could transfer to a 4-year school, in which our courses transfer to the 4-year schools. So whatever they take here, they can carry it over to a 4-year school.
So when a student completes the associate degree, just say, for example, from the community college, they might transfer to A&T or UNCG to complete a 4-year degree program and then become licensed to be a public school teacher.
Right.
So it's a good segue.
It is. Okay. And so we have an articulation agreement with Greensboro College, which they will accept all of the classes that they've taken. So Greensboro College has a, we work hand in hand with them, but also UNCG, A&T, they have what's called a 2+2. So if you have your associate degree here, you can also go there.
Okay.
So we have those agreements with those colleges.
Well, that's very convenient. That's very convenient. Well, that's great. Well, now we can talk. We've talked about little children, and now let's turn our attention to criminal justice, basic law enforcement. Those are the programs that you have in your area at this time, Ken. Tell us a little bit about each of those programs of study and what types of personalities tend to succeed and what types of courses they take.
Well, actually, in public safety, we have a broad range of opportunities, but particularly in the criminal justice curriculum and the BLET, we have lots of different courses that they can take, and motivated individuals that want to get into law enforcement, that want to do counseling, that want to do corrections or probation parole. All of those jobs are available at different levels, the federal, state, and local level. Our classes, we start with a 111, which is intro. That's also a UGETSI course, which means it will transfer to any 4-year college. And so we have a lot of students who come in and take that class that aren't necessarily interested in criminal justice, or they may be thinking that criminal justice is something that they want to do but aren't sure. So the 111 and then 112 is criminology and 113 is juvenile justice. So we start off kind of covering the range of what occupations that may be out there. So the students in the first semester get those kinds of experiences. So they may decide, hey, I want to do juvenile justice, or hey, I want to do, criminology, want to get into CSI and all that kind of thing. So a lot of opportunities. Our program is 67 to 68 hours, and of course it ends up with a 2-year degree, and that's for the criminal justice curriculum. Now, the BLET is a basic law enforcement training, and the BLET program will certify you, if you go through the entire program, to be a sworn law enforcement officer in the state of North Carolina. You have to go through the program. The program is roughly, right now, it's 628 hours, so it's pretty intense. It's about 6 months. It's spread out. We run a day program, roughly 8 to 5 days a week, some weekends, and so it's a real immersion kind of thing. I mean, it's a lot to it.
So it's a commitment for a fairly short amount of time, and then you come out on the end after you pass your licensure exam, ready to go into the workforce as law enforcement.
And most of our students, almost all of them, are actually already sponsored, so they have an agency that will sponsor them, and then it doesn't necessarily mean they're going to employ them, but it does mean that they will, have agreed to that this person is of the caliber that can be a law enforcement officer. So there's a lot of screening that goes in the front of that, criminal background checks and all that, which is really kind of common sense. But so that's ultimately, if they want to be law enforcement officers, that's the part that goes up front.
So if someone were interested in a career in law enforcement, what would their first step be? Would it be to seek a sponsor, or would it be come to talk with someone in your area? What would someone need to do?
Well, the first thing they need to do is contact our school director or assistant school director, Jim Gunn or Charlie Wall, and they would lead them through the process. There's a packet that you actually have to have, and it kind of walks you through with a worksheet that says you need to get this criminal background check, you do need to get this sponsorship, you do need to get this physical, and all the things that you would expect somebody to have to be a police officer. So come and talk to our director, and the director will lead you in the direction you need to go. There's also a compass reading test that they have to take at the very beginning to make sure that they're at the reading level of roughly 10th grade reading level, and to show that they're available to, and they're able to do the material actually. But after that, then they would just go through and do the criminal histories, and the other thing is fill out the F3 is a long application process.
Well, what type of courses would you take if you were enrolled in basic law enforcement?
Well, basic law enforcement goes from all of the things that we would think about, like the range and driving and first aid and hazmat and crowd control and, of course, the law courses, the criminal law, the search and arrest and procedures and all that kind of stuff, the court kind of classes, and then the physical training, of course, is a POPAT, which is a police officer physical ability test. Of course, they have to do that. Everybody's probably familiar with that sort of thing, where they have to be able to run a certain distance and do certain obstacle courses. And so that's part of their physical training, or the PT. So the PT is a big part of it too, which of course you would expect your police officers to be physically fit. Right. So the physical part is a big part of it. And they start rather slow with that. I mean, it doesn't mean you have to be in top shape, but you should come in anticipating that there's going to be some running, there's going to be some physical activity, and there's going to be some other things that you have to do. Course-wise, one of the good things about the BLET program, if you do go through the BLET program, and this segues into our criminal justice curriculum program, they automatically get 19 hours worth of credit toward the 2-year degree for our criminal justice technology program. So that's an added bonus. And we're also using that as a way to recruit officers who are already out here who are sworn that may want to come back and get their 2-year degree. We're encouraging them, hey, you're already 18, 19 hours there, which is obviously almost a third of the degree, so come back to us. And we have had some do that, but we're really pushing that now through our in-service to get these officers who don't have a degree to come back to the program. Now, along with that, we've got a Title III grant I know we're going to talk about a little later, but that's going to allow us to put our own criminal justice courses online. And so that's going to be very valuable for those same persons, those officers who swing shifts and work nights and can't come to a traditional face-to-face class. We hope within 3 years to have all of our criminal justice curriculum program online, and that will be invaluable. I mean, it is what it is.
Really, right now, a sworn officer already has 19 hours of credit towards an associate degree in criminal justice. And I'm certain that's going to open up maybe more opportunities for promotion or additional career opportunities. Can you tell me just a little bit about how, what else would be available in criminal justice with that associate degree?
Well, it depends on where you are. There are a lot of jobs out there. One study, I have the figures here, said that there are going to be up to 20,000 law enforcement agencies in the United States, and within the average year, they hire roughly 100,000 employees.
Wow.
So that is a lot of job openings out there. Now, granted, sometimes they'll necessary to relocate or necessary to maybe move to where the jobs are, but a lot of jobs are out there.
Well, and in our region, I expect that it may be like a lot of things. There are retirements and baby boomers, and we're experiencing a lot of change in that regard in our population. And so regionally, would you say that the job outlook is promising in those areas?
We have been very successful in placement of our BLET graduates. We have. Now, we have a lot of officers out there that know about our program and respect our program. And so the first thing is that we have to make sure that our BLET is a quality product, and it is. And it's known across the state. So you want to make sure that agencies want to hire your people. Right. So that's a quality control thing that we are making sure that we stay on top of. Our instructors are the best in the state. I'm a little biased there, but they really are. And our school director and assistant director are on top of all those things. They've got combined 50 years plus of law enforcement experiences, both law enforcement officers and retired law enforcement officers. So we're running a quality program, and we're turning out quality graduates. And so there is a demand, as in most fields, for those highly qualified individuals.
So now, the BLET classes begin August 10th.
That's correct.
Which is a little bit sooner than our fall curriculum classes start. So if someone's interested, I'm assuming they need to get in contact with you or the department very soon.
Yes, they could call and ask to speak to our school director, again, Jim Gunn, or Charlie Wall, assistant school director, or myself. They are really looking at just about a time constraint right now because of the amount of paperwork that they have to fill out. However, if they don't have to do a lot of background checks, we could probably expedite them and get them into the day class in August the 10th, but they're really running out of time quickly.
But we do have 2 schools a year that go through
We
that we
do.
offer. So if someone's not able to enroll right away, they could at least call to explore the possibilities with you.
Not unusual for that process to take 4 to 6 weeks.
Okay.
So we're really getting short although we did have 2 inquiries just today, and I think if we can expedite those applications, they'll be in our day school.
Okay.
But so they have to get the background checks from everywhere they've lived and all sorts of other information that they've got to put together. So it really is a lot to the packet. Night school starts in January, so we'll be running a night school, which is 6 to 10, and so that's for working folks. If you have a day job, you can come to that program.
Well, and I think the biggest word of urgency is that August 2nd is the last day that we will be able to process applications for fall semester. We encourage people to contact us quickly so that we can help you go through the process to be enrolled to begin this fall with the college. Now, Ken, in addition to curriculum programs, there's some workforce development programs that fall under your purview. Tell me a little bit about what's going on there.
Well, we have the Fire and Rescue Program, and Fire and Rescue Program is, of course, the used to be continuing ed, and it's called workforce development now. And so that's an ongoing program we've had probably 15 years running, and that's where we actually go out and we train the fire and the rescue people in the community. We were lucky; we have some new props that have come in that we can actually use for that, because a lot of our training in that program goes out to the communities. We go out to the rural fire departments and do training. They can come to our emergency services training center and get training, but a lot of them like to get trained in their own backyard, which is understandable. So we may take our training equipment out to wherever it might be, Oregon Hill or Anglin Mill or wherever it might be, anywhere in the county, to provide training for those fire folks and those rescue folks. We recently acquired a brand new truck, a 2016 Ford F-350, which we're really excited about because we haven't had anything to move these props around.
Okay.
And so now with that'll give us extended and expanded opportunities to provide training, because now we can actually get more of our equipment, more of our props out to the remote areas, or not remote, but rural areas of Rockingham County.
And so the individuals who teach these courses actually load up the equipment, go to the rural fire department or rescue squad department, and work with those first responders. So it's a very hands-on, connect with the community kind of cooperative effort.
It is, and some of those are certifications which they have to recertify every year in some cases. So some of those come with certificates, and then a lot of the training is done at the local facilities by their own certified people, but we are providing the equipment for them to use. So RCC is doing a lot more than just the classroom training. We are lucky enough to be able to provide them with not only a good place to train, but also the equipment to train, and that's invaluable. Because obviously a lot of the rural departments can't afford the kinds of things that we're able to get them. And I keep saying props, but that's what they are.
Okay. So in addition to the fire and rescue, I know there's a safe driving class that we have out at the college, and I have been a beneficiary of that class before. If you have a little bump up or you get a speeding ticket, tell me a little bit about how that class might help you.
Well, the safe driving program can be either 3 hours or 6 hours, so it's a one-day kind of class, and you would sign up, call Sarah Tucker, our administrative assistant, and also the program coordinator for that, and she would tell you what you need to do. But it can take some points off of your license in some cases, and off of your insurance in some cases. It's not true for everybody, but if you, depending on what you got your ticket for, you may have to do a 3-hour class, or you may end up doing a 6-hour class, but it can benefit you down the road, lessen those penalties. She also is a coordinator for our motorcycle safety program.
Tell me a little bit about motorcycle safety.
The motorcycle safety program, we have 6 dedicated motorcycles. We actually have 8, but we have 6 that we keep up and running. And it's a program where you can actually come on the weekends. It's 22 hours. And on a Friday night, Saturday, and Sunday, you can get your certification, which will allow you to go get your motorcycle license without having to take the test if you have your certification at the DMV. So it's a very valuable program, especially if you're a novice or beginning motorcycle person and you're interested in doing that. You can come and ride our motorcycles in a safe environment with excellent instructors. Small classes, 6, like I said. Sometimes we run less than that, but a maximum of 6. And so it's a real hands-on kind of thing. And for the 22 hours, I think it's $185 now, but that includes the motorcycles and the equipment and the place to do it. Of course, we have a range to run the motorcycle program on. And so it's all about making better, safer motorcycle drivers.
Well, it sounds like that between BLET, safe driving, and motorcycle, you're keeping all of our transportation venues as safe as that you can possibly keep them.
Well, we're trying to. We're trying to, especially with the motorcycles. That's such a serious thing.
It is. And it's very important for the driver to understand the necessity of being cautionary around motorcycles.
That's right.
So
and it's also, as I said, a safe environment for somebody who knows really not a whole lot about motorcycles. It starts with a 4-hour online course, so they'll have a little bit of classroom, but then it goes into the hands-on thing. So, as I said, if you have somebody who's a beginner that knows nothing about it but wants to get a motorcycle and get a motorcycle license, it's a good place to start.
Great.
It's a good, safe place to start.
Well, thank you so much for spending some time with me today. And thank you for tuning in to Community Accents. I encourage you to stop by, visit us at the college anytime. Let us know how we can help you pursue your educational goals. And just remember, at RCC, you start local and go far.